Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin. Today we are doing the second video in a series of Trek Domane RSL versus SLR, what the differences are and how they compare. We're going to stick them on the scales and weigh them. It's not going to be an exact comparison because that's an SLR 7, which is Ultegra with Bontrager Aeolus Pro wheel, so it's the mid-range build, whereas this is Dura Ace, but it is with deeper wheels. So the differences between the Domane RSL, which you may or may not have come across, and the SLR, the first and biggest difference obviously is the frame. So the RSL is the racing version, whereas the SLR is the endurance version for ordinary people like me that don't race at a Pro Tour level or at any level really. The head tube is lower, the frame is slightly longer than the endurance version, it's a little shorter and taller, so that's a little bit more relaxed, a bit more comfortable. You have the ISO speed, which is Trek's proprietary sort of shock absorber system, so your seat post is mounted independently on a bearing system which allows it to flex. You have that on both, so that's the same on both bikes. You only have it on the back, whereas the previous generation Domane had it front and back, so it's a lighter frame because of that. The second difference between this and that is the visual difference. You can see the head tube is much deeper than the regular SLR. The down tube is much deeper than the regular SLR, and you probably can't see it very well from that angle, but the bottom bracket on this bike is huge, so it's a gigantic, big, stiff area. So this one is a wind tunnel tested aero endurance bike, whereas this is a CFD developed endurance bike. So the aerodynamics are computer tested and computer generated, as opposed to this one, they do the CFD building on the computer and then they bring it in the wind tunnel and they test it, because this one's designed to be raced. This one isn't. The next difference between the SLR and the RSL is the SLR has a very cool little storage compartment in the frame. So the door pops off nice and easy. Your little mini tool goes in there, and you put a tool wrap in the frame, which will have your CO2, your tubes, your tire levers. Door pops back on, locks in place, and you've got space for mounting 2 bottle cages. So your front bottle cage mounts directly onto the door, your second bottle cage mounts directly on the seat tube as normal. Your mounting points are the same here, you just don't have the internal storage because this bike's built for racing. Generally you're not going to have to carry a spare tube if you've got a team car behind you. So geometry is the first difference, the aerodynamics is the second, internal storage is the third, and then the other difference with this one is the build. So we've built this one with Dura Ace and the top of the range Bontrager Aeolus RSL 51s and Pirelli tires. The team raced with 37mm, so it's almost team spec but not exactly. Well, they also race on SRAM as opposed to Dura Ace, but they're comparable. So we'll weigh it and see how it comes out. It's crazy light. It's really impressive. So we'll pop it up here and see what it comes to. Just move that over. So that's at 7.55, 7.54. And that's running tubes, and the head tube has to be cut, so there's probably another 150, 200 grams to come off that. 7.56 is where it stopped. We'll weigh that against the SLR, which is the endurance version, the regular riders version. The other big difference with the build is the SLR comes with a regular bar and stem. It comes with the Pro Isocore handlebar. So the Isocore is it's a round handlebar, but it's a carbon fiber bar, and it's built with Isocore, which is, excuse me, Trek scientist people. It's a type of rubber filament that's woven through the carbon fiber to absorb vibration. So I've gotten that 90% right, I reckon. It's a more comfortable bar, and we generally wrap this with either the grippy tape that's on it, but you also have a pad underneath that, a gel pad underneath it, or we can do it with double gel, which gives you a gel bar tape on top of the gel pad plus the isocore, so you get a very, very comfortable ride. And it's built with the new aluminium blender stem with semi-integrated cables, so your cables are 90% hidden. That little cap comes off to allow them run in there, so you can change the fitting in terms of bar width, stem length, very easy. It's not all internal cabling the way the internal bar is. You've also got a frame top mount here for carrying your bento box or bag for bringing your food for your endurance rides, which again, the pros don't need to carry their own food. Let's put this one in the scales and weigh it and see where we come out. So we were at 7.56 for that guy, and that one comes in at 8.2, 8.22, 8.23. So obviously the group set is different. The Dura Ace is going to be lighter than 8.22. Dura Ace is going to be lighter than Ultegra. The wheels, the RSL, are lighter than the Pro, but these are a shallower wheel as well, so there's a bit of give and take. So if you were to go carbon saddle, RSL, Dura Ace, I reckon you'd be taking that down to within 200-300 grams of the RSL, which is really, really light for an endurance bike that's very much built for comfort, long rides, long sportives, that sort of stuff, and can also take full mudguards. That's the other thing with the regular Domane, is you've got mudguard mounts, so you can actually run full mudguards in the winter. There's a hidden fender mount here, so you can mount a bridge. You can run a full mudguard that mounts on the frame here with stays, and the same on the front. Hidden mounts in the fork, so you can run full mudguards on that. So it's a very practical bike for all year round riding. Keep you dry in the winter, and it's lovely and light then for sportives for the summer. So that's the Domane RSL versus SLR.